At 7:55 a.m., the first bombs hit Pearl Harbor. It was Sunday, December 7th, 1941. The morning was calm over the island of Oahu. The sky was clear blue, the air warm and still. For the thousands of American sailors and soldiers stationed at Pearl Harbor, it was just another peaceful day off. Most men were still asleep, having breakfast, or planning their day. The mighty ships of the Pacific Fleet sat lined up along Battleship Row, looking invincible. No one expected war. Intelligence believed Japan would attack targets much further away, like the Philippines or Malaya. An attack here, in Hawaii, seemed impossible. At 7:02 a.m., two soldiers operating a radar station on the northern coast saw something strange. A massive formation of aircraft appeared on their screens, heading straight for the island. They reported it immediately, but the officer in charge dismissed it. He thought it was a flight of American B-17 bombers expected to arrive from the mainland. "Forget it," he told them. That mistake would cost thousands of lives. At 7:55 a.m., the silence was shattered. A low, roaring noise filled the air. People looked up to see planes diving out of the clouds, flying incredibly low. But they weren't American. Painted on their wings was the bright red sun of the Japanese Empire. "I looked up and saw the planes," remembered Chief Radio Man Robert Jenkins. "I saw the red meatballs. I said to myself, this is it. This is real." Commander Mitsuo Fuchida, leading the attack, radioed his carriers far out at sea. "Tora, Tora, Tora!" The code meant surprise was complete. In seconds, explosions thundered across the harbor. Bombs fell, torpedoes raced through the water, and machine guns tore into everything below. The Japanese had prepared carefully. They used torpedoes modified to work in the shallow water. Their targets were the big battleships and the airplanes on the ground. The USS Oklahoma was hit first. Multiple torpedoes struck her side at once. The explosions were massive. Water flooded in instantly, and the huge ship began to tip over. "There was a tremendous bang," said Seaman Richard Clark. "The ship just rolled over. We had no time. Men were jumping into the water, which was already covered in oil." Within minutes, the Oklahoma lay completely upside down on the harbor bottom, trapping hundreds of men inside. 429 crew members died that day. But the worst horror was about to happen on the USS Arizona. Japanese dive bombers were attacking from directly above. Suddenly, one bomb hit the ship near the front turret. It penetrated the deck and went straight down into the ammunition magazine. What happened next was seen by thousands and can never be forgotten. There was a blinding flash of white-hot fire, a roar so loud it deafened everyone nearby. The entire forward section of the ship erupted. A column of black smoke shot 500 feet into the sky. Massive pieces of steel were thrown into the air like toys. Seaman Lauren Bruner was on deck. "I saw the bomb hit. The next moment I was flying through the air. The explosion lifted me right off my feet and threw me across the deck. The ship just disintegrated." In just 9 minutes, the Arizona sank. 1,177 men were killed instantly. It was the single greatest loss of life in the attack. The sea around the wreck became a lake of burning oil. While the ships burned, the Japanese were destroying the Air Force. At Hickam and Wheeler Fields, American planes were lined up neatly, wingtip to wingtip. They were sitting ducks. Japanese fighters swept in, strafing everything in sight. Within minutes, nearly 200 planes were destroyed. Hangars exploded, fuel tanks burned, and personnel ran for their lives. Hardly any American planes managed to take off. It was a massacre. Despite the shock and chaos, Americans fought back immediately. There were no orders needed. Men rushed to the anti-aircraft guns, many still in their pajamas. They loaded shells and fired into the sky. Tracer bullets crisscrossed the smoke-filled air. At Kaneohe Naval Air Station, Chief John Finn manned a machine gun, despite being hit by enemy fire. He kept shooting for 2 hours. He would later receive the Medal of Honor for his bravery. One ship tried to escape. The USS Nevada was damaged, but still floating. Her captain made the brave decision to get underway and try to reach the open sea so she wouldn't sink and block the harbor. With engines roaring and guns blazing, she moved down the channel. She became the main target for every enemy plane left in the sky. Bombs exploded all around her, throwing up walls of water. Realizing she was too badly damaged to make it out, the captain ordered her run aground to save her from sinking completely. At 8:40 a.m., the first wave left, but the attack wasn't over. A second wave of 170 planes arrived. They attacked the dry docks and repair facilities. The smoke was so thick now that pilots could barely see. The heat was intense. Rescue boats risked everything to pull men from the water. Men covered in thick black oil, burned and choking. Finally, at 9:45 a.m., the last plane turned away and flew north. A heavy silence fell over the harbor. The sun was blocked out by thick black smoke. The air smelled of burning oil and metal. Battleship Row was gone. The Arizona was a twisted wreck. The Oklahoma was upside down. The West Virginia and California had sunk. Fires burned everywhere, even on the surface of the water. Rescue work started instantly. Firefighters battled blazes for days. Divers tapped on the hulls of sunken ships, listening for anyone trapped inside. A few were found alive in air pockets, but most were lost forever. The final numbers were devastating. 2,403 Americans dead, including 68 civilians. 1,178 wounded. 8 battleships damaged or destroyed. Over 300 aircraft destroyed. Japan lost only 29 planes. That evening, the mood was grim, but there was no panic. There was anger and determination. The next day, President Franklin Roosevelt addressed the nation. He called December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States declared war on Japan. The country was no longer neutral. World War II had truly begun for America. Pearl Harbor was a military disaster caused by overconfidence and underestimating the enemy. But it was also a day that showed incredible courage. The sunken ships were eventually raised and repaired, fighting again in battles across the Pacific. The Arizona remains where she sank, a memorial to the men who died on her. The peaceful Sunday morning was gone, replaced by war. But from that smoke and fire, a nation rose to fight, ensuring that the sacrifice of those men would not be forgotten.